Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Boost! I'm YouTube famous now, available in 2018. The album, Dad AF. Seems like old times having you, Kat Von D, to talk about. All right, let's get right into this video. I have a special guest with me, and yes, it is Pee-Pee the Flying Chihuahua. I think we look very fancy, Pee-Pee. He said, I did not consent to this, and I think that we look bougie. You don't consent to this? He goes, no, I have my SAG card. I don't consent to this. This weekend is Pee-Pee and Peter's Bachelor Weekend because my husband Alex is out of town. So whenever my husband is out of town, Pee-Pee and I just sit around and we gossip and talk about drama. It's so much fun. So anyway, let's get right into this video, shall we? Woo, hot summer days, hot summer drama. Let's get right into this. And if you don't know, which you don't know is a lot, today's video is about Kat Von D. And why this is interesting to me is that my very, very first drama video that I ever did, okay, was about Kat Von D on September 1st of 2016. So it's been a long time, and I haven't done a lot of Kat Von D videos. I really haven't. And she's kind of like, you know, other than like posting videos on her Instagram of like holding butterflies and all that kind of stuff in her black garden, she hasn't really put out a lot of stuff that would cause drama, you know what I mean? She's kind of stayed out of the way a little bit and all that kind of stuff. So it was interesting when I started getting mass, and I mean to tell you, mass messages, okay, about Kat Von D and the drama that was going on around her pregnancy. And at first, like, I was getting all these messages and I thought, why are people so interested in Kat Von D's pregnancy? Well, let me tell you, okay? So then I went in and I started like reading the messages and I started reading what people were saying to me, and I was like, oh, this is interesting, okay? And then I went over to the Reddit thread. Y'all know I love the Reddit, okay? To get Reddit with me. I love the Reddit thread, and they were not happy, okay? And what's interesting about the Reddit, and I say this a lot, is that over there, it's kind of like a lot of, mostly I would say educated opinions from people that are educated, that are fair. That is the thing. And it was mostly Kat Von D fans, if you read the thread, that had an issue with her about what we're gonna talk about. And they were using words in there, and listen, I like to think of myself as an educated person, okay? But I hadn't even heard of some of these words before. I was like, I couldn't pronounce some of these words to save my life, right? So this is what happened, okay? Kat Von D put out a picture, a pregnancy picture of herself, and there were some crazy comments that came along with it. But before that, let's see what happened. She responded to a comment that she got on an Instagram post, and somebody said to her, so excited for you, do your research on vaccines. They aren't vegan, okay? Because everybody knows that Kat Von D is vegan. And she responded to them and said, there's no way we are vaccinating our baby. High five to you for promoting that. Well, the world went crazy. I mean to tell you, absolutely crazy. Everybody was losing their mind off of all this stuff. It's not gonna show up with but there's a shot that she showed of her being pregnant on there. So anyway, people started like commenting like crazy on what she had said, okay? And let me just give you a few examples before I read to you Kat Von D, what she had to say back, right? So here it is. Kat Von, somebody said on here, this is on the Reddit, I said this on my story. I'm very sad to say I will no longer support Kat Von D Beauty. It would be hypocritical of me to blacklist other brands for what I believe is unethical behavior, but excuse her for advocating against vaccination, which I find unethical and irresponsible. I'm sure I'm gonna lose a lot of followers and get a bunch of hate messages for this. And then somebody else said, honestly, advocating against vaccinating is worse than any of the BG drama that's cropped up because it's misinformation that leads to preventable disease outbreaks and death. I know I will be following you, this is what she's saying back to the person that wrote the thread, and no longer buying, supporting Kat Von D. I just had to deal with anti-vaxxers lobbying against mandatory vaccinations for public school. I cannot have that drama in my off time. And you know, this is the thing, okay? And I talk about this a lot in my videos. With these beauty influencers, Instagrammers, YouTubers, things like that, with these people that are showing us part of their lives, okay? This isn't like the CEO of L'Oreal, who we have like no idea really we don't know a lot about that person's life, if that makes sense, right? We fall in love with who that person presents to us, their profile, their life. We're in love with all of that, right? And so we become invested in that person, not just because of the makeup they make or what kind of clothes they sell or what kind of music they put out. We buy into the story. I say this all the time, okay? And to some degree, I think it's, some of these things maybe you shouldn't put out there in the world, you should be rather public about. I don't really have an opinion about this, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't have an opinion about this, because I'm not educated enough to have an opinion. And I'm not gonna put an opinion out there into the world based on misinformation and lack of education. So I'm just gonna present the facts as I got the receipts. Whitney! Whatever you want, anything you want done, baby. I want the receipts. Okay, so I'm just gonna present the receipts and then I'm gonna let you guys make your decision, right? So after all of this backlash, of which there's a lot more, and I need to tell you, I went through this whole thread, I read all the replies, there were very few people supporting Kat Von D, okay? Now, it was interesting, when you go over to the picture, the people that they were calling out, like Gigi Gorgeous and Candy Johnson and people like that, and several of the RuPaul Drag Race girls and all this kind of stuff, it was interesting that they liked the picture. And people are saying, well, does that mean that they're supporting, not vaccinating your child? Or are they just liking the picture? So this is where liking pictures, all that kind of stuff goes a lot deeper than just, hey, I like this person, like their picture, right? So make sure that you read underneath your Instagram pictures because people are looking for it. So anyway, Kat Von D released a statement after all of this, and this is what she said. I thought it was very, very interesting. It's quite a long statement, and this is under her Instagram picture. I knew the minute we announced our pregnancy that we would be bombarded with unsolicited advice, some good and some questionable. Unsolicited nonetheless. I also was prepared for the backlash and criticism we would get if we decided to be open about our personal approach to our pregnancy. My own father flipped out on me when I told him we decided to ditch our doctor and go with a midwife instead. If you don't know what it's like to have people around you think you are ridiculous, try being openly vegan. And if you don't know what it's like to have the entire world openly criticize, judge, throw uninformed opinions, and curse you, try being an openly pregnant vegan on Instagram, having a natural, drug-free home birth in water with a midwife and doula who has the intention of raising a vegan child without vaccinations. My point being, I already know what it's like to make life choices that are not the same as the majority. So your negative comments are not going to influence my choices. Actual research and educating myself will, which I am diligently doing. This is my body. This is our child, and this is our pregnancy journey. Feel free to follow me on here if you like what I'm about, whether it's tattooing, lipstick, animal rights, sobriety, feminism, ridiculous gothiness, black flower gardening, cats, or my adorable husband. But if you don't dig a certain something about what I post, I kindly ask that you press the unfollow button and move the fuck on. So before any of you feel inspired to tell me how to do this, I would appreciate you keeping your unsolicited criticism to yourself. More importantly, for those who have amazing positive energy to send my way, I will gladly and graciously receive it with love. We haven't seen that fan in a while, have we? So basically what Kat Von D said is, I'm gonna do what I wanna do, and if you disagree with it, fuck you. That's basically what she said. And it's interesting to me when all of these beauty influencers and beauty drama people, YouTubers and all that kind of stuff, right? When they do something that is not accepted by a lot of people, or a lot of people have an issue with it, their response, instead of being willing to have an open conversation, okay, and say, you know what, maybe you have some valid points, I'll look into that, but this is my child, whatever, and just kind of leaving it at that, they always go for the fuck you, don't they? They always say, well, if you don't agree with me, unfollow me, And hey, listen, I like somebody that's got balls, right? And I like somebody that ain't a doormat. But to some degree, the people that you're talking to are the people that built you up to what you are now, see? They're the ones that are supporting you. They're the ones that have bought your makeup. They're the ones that have loved you along the way. They're the ones that have supported your ridiculousness, as you said on there. So, you know, to some degree, they do have an investment in what's going on with you. You can't just say, well, I'm glad that you support me in this, but if you don't support me in this, fuck off. Like, you know, what it really says is, I don't care about the people that buy my products. I don't care about the people that follow me and love me because they don't agree with all of my decisions. The thing is that the people that like follow you and like you aren't always going to agree with all your decisions. For any person out there, okay, in the public eye, for anybody, no matter what you do, people aren't, nobody is going to always agree with everything you do. But to just have this fuck you attitude towards the world, to me, lacks great maturity, you know? Instead to say, well, let me take a look at that and see if there's something to it. Because I did, okay? I didn't know a lot about this, so I started reading a lot of articles by very educated people, okay? PhDs, doctors, people at MIT, people at research institutes all over the world. I read about what, because I wasn't gonna make this video and then have people come for me and say, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know that much about it because I haven't lived through it, but I did do a little bit of research, okay? And what they're talking about in here is that they have come out in the recent years and said that a lot of these vaccinations that we vaccinate our children with, okay, have side effects, right? But they say that the side effects are minimal. One of the greatest side effects they've said, is that vaccinations can lead to autism. Well, because there was a study that was put out about that. So let me read you something that I found, okay, which was the best layman terms example, and it was from the scientificamerican.com, which is not the most reputable magazine in the entire world, but what they say in here regarding autism is basically what MIT and every other research institute in the country has said. Some concerns about vaccines stem from discredited work that suggested that they lead to autism. The findings were subsequently retracted, and the physician who did that small study was barred from practicing medicine because of ethical lapses. More than a dozen studies have added to the body of evidence that this link does not exist. Expert groups, including the IOM and the AAP, agree that vaccines do not contribute to children's autism rates. The vaccine added thimerosal, a preservative that contains a form of mercury, also does not cause autism. It is now only included in pediatric vaccines in trace amounts or not at all, but there is no medical evidence that it causes autism in patients, which I think is very, very interesting because there's been a lot of people that have come out in the last couple of years. I think Jenny McCarthy was one of them that said something about, you know, children's rates of autism being linked to this. Now, I could be wrong about the Jenny McCarthy thing. I don't know, but I do think there's a link to that. And a lot of people have come out and said something about that. Now, what was interesting on this thread was that several people said, I wasn't vaccinated and I have autism. Or, what is wrong with autism? You know, that you wouldn't want to have a child that has autism, but you would be okay with a child that like had passed away. And I don't know, I think that's an interesting conversation. So let's go in here and see what some of the people on the thread had to say, because the thread was highly educated, I thought, although they used some cusses in there, some swears, my lord, over there on the Reddit. Y'all don't usually use the swears, but I do like a good swear every once in a while, fuck. Anyway, okay, let's see what they said over here. I thought it was interesting. Oh my God, come on. Whitney, these receipts, you're getting me with the receipts. So anyway, I have so many receipts on this. I was screenshotting shit like crazy. Okay. Update, and then that's when she put the, oh my God, all of that stuff in the post is fine. Veganism, home birth, doula, midwife, do your thing, man. If you want to go to the natural hippie route, I say go for it. Except vaccinations, that is on a whole different planet from the other stuff she mentioned. She is living her life publicly, and as such, if she makes a dangerous decision and is public about it, she should be prepared for criticism. And she says in there that I was prepared for this criticism, but if you don't like what I have to say, fuck you, is basically what she said. Fuck, move the fuck on. I mean, if you went to somebody's house and you said, I don't like the painting, the color of your house, and they said, just move the fuck on, well, no, they're not open to your criticism, are they? So if her child, God forbid, contracts a disease preventable by vaccines, is she just going to go, oh, well, the natural is to just hope and see if she's, anyway, a lot of people had a lot of issues with this. Oh my God, all that stuff is, okay, wait. I mean, plenty of children have died in recent years as a result of parents disregarding medicine and using homeopathic remedies or prayers instead. The fact that she thinks it's just her slightly more alternative choices are what's pissing people off is the most ignorant and self-important perspective to take on people's reactions. Like, no, it's not just the anti-vax thing. Ugh. Someone commented on that post with their stupid assertion that they've not gotten sick as an unvaccinated person, so therefore it's fine, and she replied praising them. It almost feels like all the research she's doing is this unscientific bullshit. I want to like her, but she's making it fucking impossible. Okay, Somebody said something. She acts as if she's some kind of minority for being an openly public vegan. Like, fuck right off. No one gives a shit that you're vegan. People are mad right now because of the dumb shit coming out of your mouth about vaccines. Now, let me get to some that are a little bit more educated. And I'm going to mispronounce some of these words, so just go with me. I'm a epidemiologist. That makes me so unbelievably sad. I guess I won't be purchasing any more of her products. Damn it. Public health worker here. I was pretty much done with her, and now I really am. Anti-vax is such a harmful ideology. This is disappointing. My work takes me into contact with children severely immunocompromised children. I'll have a coworker go assist procedures even if I have a small cough just to be safe. Has Kat even given a tiny thought to these types of situations in her vast research? This topic boils my blood because it's such an example of how a little knowledge can be a dangerous thing. I've done some work in the developing world, keeping it vague on purpose. The level of mindless privilege and total disrespect and disregard. I can't form a good sentence. I'm too mad. I've seen people who have suffered because of vaccine-preventable diseases. It's too personal. And then right underneath here. My dad had polio as a child and it left him physically disabled his whole life. The thought that it was entirely preventable has always stuck with me. I can't relate to someone so selfish and ignorant as to be anti-vaccines, like they don't want to stop the spread of preventable diseases. Mindlessly privileged is a good way of putting it. My family never had me vaccinated, and guess what? I still got autism. I had to spend most of my childhood severely ill, had to spend it inside, and I got a lot of other kids sick. Also, why the fuck are people so afraid of autism? Like, would you seriously rather have your child fucking die than be diagnosed as autistic? Thank you. People act like autism is the worst thing to possibly happen to a child. Although I strongly believe vaccines do not cause autism, it's a small price to pay for a life. For those who didn't read, she's not just refraining in the name of veganism, but because her research has shown it's not safe and pushed by a corrupt industry. I'm pretty furious, to be honest. I love how hard she advocates for ethicality and cosmetics, and I do salute her for her lifestyle, which is why this feels like such a step backwards. I'm a vegetarian, and I'm very quiet about it because people just think you're some loony conspiracy theorist who doesn't trust industries. This paints everything she and we strive for as hippie crap. Really hard to take someone's moral seriously when they do something as foolish as endangering infants. I wish her research had not been into how it will endanger her son's life, or I wish her research had been into how it will endanger her son's life. Not only is she consciously endangering him, it can affect him for the rest of his life. He will be excluded from attending certain schools and universities, which I had never thought about, but that's a good point. Hopefully a doctor will advise her about the reality of her choices. I love so many of her products, but I will absolutely not support an anti-vaxxer. Never buying from her again. This is, to me, worse than any of the other brand owners' drama. Some of them have done truly wretched things, which have made me not want to buy their products. On my list of the worst brand owners, she's now at the top. And then it goes in, it says all this kind of stuff. But I wanted to read you this one last comment because I thought it was pretty powerful. This is so much worse too because of what her demographic is. This isn't some B-list actor scanning a single biased research paper, then hopping on Twitter to spew ignorance. This is a woman who is the face of a huge brand that young women and teenagers buy and are exposed to. Many of them probably glamorize her and look up to her, and being impressionable young people might start to look at this as a reasonable, non-harmful stance because their favorite creator, celebrity, agrees with it. It starts to normalize putting kids in danger through anti-vaccine and the idea that it's okay to brush off criticism and facts completely, like Kat Von D is doing. I'm just so grossed out by this. I need to go take a walk, man. I'm getting bummed out by all of the dumb. And you know, it's really interesting. I did not find very many supportive comments on the Reddit. And whenever I read the Reddit over there, there's a lot of supportive comments or discussion that goes back and forth, or some people that agree with something and some people that don't. I know under Kat Von D's pictures, there's a lot of people that still love her and support her on this, but I do think it's an interesting topic. How much do you share with your public? How much do you share with the people that love you and support your brand? Is that important? What do you guys think about this topic? I don't know, even to this minute sitting here with the 30 articles that I just read before I made this video, that I still feel informed enough that I could feel comfortable making that decision today. I just don't know. And you know, it's a very scary topic. So leave your comment in the comment section below, but please remember, let's always be compassionate and have an open discussion. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.